Welcome to the Coruscant Courier. This is your host, Jonathan. Guys, it has been a long time, but we are so stoked to be back doing this. We have just had so many different things going on in life, as all of you have, but we've decided we're going to go hit the Star Wars content hard again, and we were inspired to do this for a couple of reasons. One, we have free time again. Two, we absolutely love Star Wars. And three, everybody is talking about Star Wars The Acolyte right now. And that's understandable because there has been a lot of controversy with it. As many of you know, the fandom is extremely divided over the show. Probably the majority of the fandom is upset with the show, at least for the first 3 episodes. But over the last 2 episodes, there has been a significant flip in the direction of the series. And that is going to be the main talking point today. And that is what in the world Ki-Adi-Mundi is doing in the Acolyte. Now, granted, many of the fans were mad that Ki-Adi-Mundi is alive during the High Republic era, as this is set 100 years before the Phantom Menace. The fact is, though, is that Ki-Adi-Mundi was never a particular age because he was only that age in Legends. It is a Legends idea. It is not canon, so he didn't necessarily have an established age. So I don't have an issue with his age. The big question we're going to answer today is the plot hole that Ki-Adi-Mundi creates in the canon. Let me explain. Ki-Adi-Mundi is talking with many members of the Jedi, and it's interesting that he knows that they are hunting essentially, potentially a dark side user, May, although they assume that she has a master, of course. But the question is who the master was, and the idea that it could have been a Sith presents a problem in the canon, because in the Phantom Menace, Ki-Adi-Mundi clearly says that the Sith have not been seen for over a millennium. If that's the case, we've got a problem on our hands, because clearly the Acolyte is a Sith, or at least a want-to-be Sith. Kamir clearly says that he is a Sith in the reveal, which he would have no reason to lie in this instance. But if that's the case, and Saul and May and Osha end up going back to the Jedi Council, and they do discover that he is a Sith, how in the world does this not interfere with the Phantom Menace canon? And this is where my theory comes into play, is Ki-Adi-Mundi is going to know. There's no way that Ki-Adi-Mundi and the Jedi Council are not going to know about the happenings with Kamir fighting the Jedi. They've all got struck down by Kamir with the exception of Saul. The only way that Kamir can exist and the Jedi not know is that Saul and May and Osha are going to have to die before they make it to the Jedi. That's the only way. Or there's going to be an exposing, and it's going to destroy the canon. I don't see how Disney can work their way out of this. This just seems like terrible writing to me. As great as the lightsaber combat has been, the writing of the dialogue and the plotline has been nothing short of abysmal. So we have to take that into consideration. How is Disney going to fix this? They honestly have to kill all the Jedi before they can relay the information back to the Council. Now, there is a secondary theory, and this is my big theory today on Ki-Adi-Mundi. Ki-Adi-Mundi is probably one of the 2 most hated Jedi in the prequel series for a couple of reasons. The first being that he's arrogant. The second being that he always discounts those that are seemingly subordinate to him. For example, there's numerous times where in the Clone Wars series that Ki-Adi-Mundi discounts Obi-Wan's ideas, where he tells Obi-Wan after the appearance of Maul and Savage Opress that it's not a Sith Lord, you know. Ki-Adi-Mundi just does this stuff. He just discounts things. And he's so arrogant. You even remember in the second to last season of Star Wars, The Clone Wars, he was under the impression that Yoda was completely encapsulated by the dark side, that he was being influenced by the dark side, and that the Sith had infiltrated his mind. Ki-Adi-Mundi just does a lot of things that a Jedi would not. He is everything wrong with the Jedi, with his arrogance and with his seeming knowledge and pride. So we have to ask ourselves the question, what motive does Ki-Adi-Mundi have? What is going on with Ki-Adi-Mundi in this process? My theory is that Ki-Adi-Mundi, there is only one other workaround, in my opinion, in their approach to the Acolyte writing so far, and that is that Ki-Adi-Mundi is actually a Sith sympathizer. Ki-Adi-Mundi is actually not a fan of the Jedi, despite being one. Now, I know this sounds ridiculous, it might sound far-fetched, but you have to understand, we've had other dark side sympathizers in the Jedi Council before. If you recall back in the Clone Wars, you had Barriss Offee, you had Pong Krell, of course, the general that turned on his clones. We have already seen Sith and dark side sympathizers in the series. So how far-fetched would it be that Ki-Adi-Mundi is going to learn of the information and he's going to bury it? That is my theory, and we are going to see in the coming weeks what exactly Ki-Adi-Mundi could be doing in here. If they don't kill all the Jedi before they reach Ki-Adi-Mundi, I don't see another way they can work around it other than Ki-Adi-Mundi is actually not a friend of the Jedi, and he is actually feeding information of the High Council to Palpatine throughout the entire prequel series. Stick with me here, guys. Is it really that outrageous to think that he could be doing that? And that's why he had to die on Magito, is he knew too much. It's just a theory. I'm just going to put it out there. So anyway, would love to hear what you guys have to say. I know none of us really like Ki-Adi-Mundi a lot. We all wanted Plo Koon. As you all know, I'm a huge Plo Koon fan. But Plo Koon is everything that's right with the Jedi. Ki-Adi-Mundi and Mace Windu are essentially everything wrong with the Jedi. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Jonathan with the Coruscant Courier. We're going to be back next week for a new video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Drop a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week after the next episode of The Acolyte.